The Empire, Castellines. Salerno finds himself somewhat shaken by his encounter with drama, particularly the implication of the last words the theater assassin said, that Lavinius is also considering hiring the theater. In all probability, he hopes for them to kill Salerno. On the other hand, perhaps that means Lavinius sees him as a credible threat, which is actually somewhat reassuring in a way. He presses Zeno to step up their investigations into Matteo's family, and he reaches out to Malvoro again, tries to test the waters with other members of the Senate, to see how many senators opposed to Lavinius even remain. Very few, as it turns out, but many of the senators that have stepped down, that is, have been forced out, are still present in the city, trying to hatch plans and form alliances behind the scenes. Malvoro tries to set up a few meetings, but frankly, Salerno isn't sure how useful the former senators will be. Still, he agrees to meet with them. Salerno also begins drawing upon some of his funds, planning for how exactly he can hire the services of the theater. He doesn't have enough to hire drama outright, not by a long shot, but he draws what he can. Zeno receives word from the men that they have found the location of the Domitus family. In the outskirts of Cassala, they found an old villa. It looks like it's been mostly abandoned for some time, invaded by squatters, but now the squatters are all Hassadian thugs, armed and active around the perimeter of the grounds. If it's not the Domitus family, it's undoubtedly something that Pontius Corvus once kept hidden away. Speaking of Pontius, Zeno has now learned that word on the ground is that he has worked out some sort of ensorcelment upon his Hassadian guards, addling their minds and greatly amping up their physical strength, speed, and aggression. Some say it's a Hassadian spell, others say it's little more than a potent drug. Zeno is inclined to believe the latter, but then he mostly believes that Pontius Corvus is no wizard, just a charlatan with a bag of tricks. In any event, the Hassadians at the villa may be more dangerous than they appear. Still, Zeno puts together a strike team, informs Salerno of his plans, and hits the villa hard late one evening. The rumors had truth to them. Many of the Hassadians are gaunt, unhealthy-looking, not to mention crazed, aggressive, relentless, and freakishly strong. And the ones that aren't appear to be highly disciplined warriors. Zeno pegs them as members of the Kadaric elite guard, attached to the ambassador from Kadar that was clearly one of Pontius's sycophants. They wield scimitars expertly, but Zeno and his men are hardened soldiers. The cutting power of the scimitar is most effective against lightly armored and unarmored foes, not legionnaires in full battle kit and iron lorica. Zeno himself tangles with what appears to be a Hassadian captain of some sort. They duel, spada against scimitar, both men light on their feet and agile, striking and then backstepping repeatedly. Most of Zeno's combat prowess is focused around horse archery, so the melee is a tense, close fight. But Zeno manages to get the better of the Hassadian. The hardest moment comes when one of the Hassadians unleashes some sort of spell, possibly prepared by Pontius for this very outcome. He throws something at several of Zeno's men. It looks like little more than a clay pot of water. It shatters, drenching several soldiers, who then begin to scream in agony as their flesh and armor begins to bubble, melting, running down their bodies in bloody rivulets. The devouring water eats away at the men, and when it finally dries, 3 of Zeno's legionnaires are horrifically disfigured or dead. Fortunately, this is the worst of it, and when Zeno sees another Hassadian emerge from the room with a similar pot, he unslings his bow and shoots the pot as the Hassadian raises his hand. The earthenware shatters, drenching the man in the horrible acidic liquid. He dies screaming, and none of Zeno's men suffer for it. Finally, the Castellines emerge victorious, with fairly light casualties. They find a woman and several children locked away in a cellar, hungry and dirty, but relatively intact. Matteo's wife and children, it seems. Zeno escorts them out, brings them back to their barracks. He and Salerno send word to Matteo. The legate of the Hassadian Socii comes rushing to Salerno's barracks with all haste. He's desperately grateful when they reunite him with his family. He pledges his loyalty to Salerno then and there. Anything Salerno asks of him, he will do. It's good to have allies. Salerno and Zeno expand their attention once more, trying to identify other legates that could be persuaded to join their side. They meet with Benedetto again, who has been making inroads with various underworld agents in Kassala. He has successfully made contact with an expert forger, per one of Salerno's earlier requests. Salerno provides the forger with the formal command Lavinius had sent him, demanding he attend the ceremony where the replacement legates were appointed. The formal request includes the Praetorian seal, Lavinius's personal seal and signature. With this, the forger is confident he can create a replica of the Praetorian seal. They begin requesting a variety of forged documents. The cost of them is a relative pittance. Salerno can absorb the costs. They aren't sure if they will use these forgeries, but they want them ready. They request several orders of troop movements, approved by the praetor and senate, recalling certain key allies of Lavinius back to their caste, particularly his own Praetorian legions, or commanding that the troops sent to Nahash under Legate Auditore be summoned back to Kassala. They write up false execution orders to execute Hadrian Julianus and Decius Crispus, not because they wish to see these two potential allies killed, but because they may wish to be able to show such heinous orders to the men loyal to Hadrian and Decius, and bring their legions into the fold of Salerno's allies. They write up an order for Danilo Albanus, the replacement legate for Hadrian's Legio Corinium, commanding him to immediately arrest and take into custody Vitale Octavianus, the hope being that such an order, coming from Lavinius, will drive Danilo away from the praetor. Or better yet, if Danilo is brave enough to carry it out, then perhaps it would force Vitale to choose a side between Salerno and Lavinius. Finally, they want a fall guy. They commission a variety of documents that look like they could personally benefit the legate of the First Castilian Legion, a man named Faustus Gaius, one of the legates in Barbieri's pocket. The plan will be to plant these documents and the replica seal in Faustus's personal quarters. This latest plan will take more time to implement. They have many different balls in the air at this point, and the next day, Salerno is delighted to find that his family has come to see him, traveling several days from their estate in the countryside. He expected his wife, Alessia, and he's delighted to see her after several years of absence during his time in Phrygia. He also expected his eldest, Ginevra, as she manages most of the finances of the Caecilius estate while Salerno is away. She is a business colleague of Giancarlo's, and he desperately needs access to as much funds as he can beg, borrow, or steal. He did not expect his younger two daughters to accompany them. Marcella, his middle daughter, is a meek little thing. She greets her father and seems to have tagged along simply because everyone else was going. His youngest, Nadia, is a different story. She is 15, a lithe, strong firebrand of a girl. She has often stated that when she comes of age, she intends to join the legions. Salerno has forbidden this. He's not terribly comfortable with women in the legion in general, and it's a fairly recent Tarathian influence that passed less than a century ago. And though he knows some women that are well suited to the legion, a couple of his own centurions even, he still adamantly refuses to give his blessing to such a life for his daughter. Now, however, he is horrified to hear why she was so eager to come to Kassala. Unlike the true legion, the Legio Serpens takes all comers, regardless of age or social status, and Nadia fully intends on joining up and traveling off to war in Tarathia. For the next couple of days, Salerno juggles politics, family, and the intersections thereof. Alessia is a rock for him, and Ginevra is a huge boon. She believes that she will be able to get him the liquid funds to hire the theater, though, of course, their estate will be left deep in debt. During his visit, Drama left behind a theater mask in the chair he'd been sitting in. Salerno only noticed it after the strange assassin was long gone. As is custom, Salerno writes on the inside of the mask, telling them that he can have the funds ready within the next few days. Salerno has an argument with Nadia that night. His daughter leaves the barracks where they've been staying, Zeno has her followed, confirms that she leaves the city walls and disappears into the massed crowd of the Legio Serpens on the outskirts of the capital. Alessia tells Salerno he can't force her. If he wants to keep her safe, he needs to find a way to keep the entire Legio Serpens safe. For the first time, Salerno really takes seriously his vague plans to placate Ariste, Duke Diaz, and that Steelshod woman. Particularly, he wonders if he will need to bring his own legions north to reinforce them. Perhaps offer Nadia a position in his own Principes line, so that his men can watch over her. The next day, Zeno and Salerno are conferring on their next moves over a private lunch. One of their legionnaires enters to announce that they have a visitor, a strange man in a mask. Zeno and Salerno look at each other, a shared feeling of frustration. Drama is calling on them, not just in broad daylight, but announcing himself to the guards, in plain view of everyone. Aggravated beyond measure, without even looking up, Salerno tells his soldier to see the fellow in. "Done and done, Salerno," replies Drama. They both look up, surprised, and where a moment ago stood one of their men, now stands the theater agent. "I take it you did not announce yourself to anyone," Salerno says. Drama bows. When he straightens, both sides of the mask are grinning. Zeno asks about the man that Drama has appeared to be. The one they expected was waiting outside their room. "He is perfectly fine, if that's what you're asking," Drama says. "None the wiser. As I said before, I would be quite impressed if one of your people saw me coming or going." "You got my message?" Salerno says. "I can have your coin. Just a few days, that is all I will need." Drama nods. "See, we got your message. Just one problem, Salerno." "Of course there is." Salerno grinds his teeth. "Oh? What would that be?" Drama waves both hands across his face in an exaggerated shrug, and his expression changes to a wobbly, sort of uncertain face. "The price has gone up," he says apologetically. Salerno closes his eyes. "And why is that?" he says quietly. "The Emperor, I'm afraid. He's offering a considerable amount for us to stop talking to you, and get you out of his way." "And I take it you've told Lavinius that I am trying to have him removed in return." Salerno opens his eyes. Drama's expression has shifted to its default position. He bobs his head. "It did seem only fair. And yet, here you are, talking to me. So he has not paid yet either." Drama affects a more thoughtful pose, hand on the chin of his mask. "We do not let the client dictate who we speak to, Salerno. Lavinius made his offer. Now you make yours." "So you've put us into a bidding war," Salerno observes. "It would appear so, see," Drama agrees. "How much?" Salerno says. To turn down an emperor? To add insult to injury by killing him, no less? We must ask for an even 2,000 now, I think." "And if I say yes, then you will tell him so?" "That is the fair thing to do. We are sure you agree." "And if he offers 2,200? Drama shrugs. "The negotiation continues, of course." Salerno was stretching himself thin enough as it is. He could not hope to outbid the gods-be-damned praetor, the man that calls himself emperor. He choked back an impudent reply. "Very well. Of course I accept your offer. 2,000 gold solidi will be yours, should you take my contract." "Perfect," Drama says. "Then, until next time, addio." The man steps out of the room without another word. "This will be a problem," Zeno comments. A characteristically dry understatement. A problem, yes. The moment the theater calls Salerno's bluff on his contract, he is a dead man. The theater will not be an easy solution to his problem. In fact, he's simply gained a dwindling hourglass on all of his machinations in Kassala to date. He needs to resolve this issue with Lavinius, and he has to do it quickly. Thank you for tuning in to Steelshod, a series by Mostly Rights, narrated by Tailforge. You can find every chapter in text format as well as character sheets, setting information, maps, and rule documents on the Steelshod tabletop system in the link below. If you'd like to support the channel, you can pop down to the description and use the Patreon link for recurring donations, the paypal.me link for one-time donations, the Teespring link for shirts with the incredibly cool background art by Nobody, or use the DriveThruRPG affiliate link the next time you're looking to try a new system. If you'd like to support the author, you can find Steelshod merch on the MostlyRights.com store, or donate to the Mostly Rights Patreon, which are both linked on reddit.com/r/mostlyrights down below.